is the biggest crowd we've had here since we started doing the group meditation, which is really exciting. Since a few of you are in this room for your first time, I thought I maybe would start off by explaining what is here, right? So this place, so that you can see there's two buildings, right? The building we're going to be eating and singing and dancing and having all kinds of fun over there after this meditation. And then there's this room. And this room is what we call a sanctified space. It simply means it's a sacred space that we create to only do things like meditate and grow our consciousness and study and those kinds of things. So we don't use this room just trivially or in a way that's not holy, so to speak. So it creates a different energy, and you can feel it when you're meditating, you know. Sort of like that comfortable chair that you love or that guitar that you love to play, you know. If it's treated right and the energy in it feeds back that way, it's sort of like a feedback loop. So this is what we have in this building. We made this building for this purpose, so we're really happy. We like to think of it as a community meditation place. And in fact, I'm teaching a series now called Community as a Spiritual Practice. In Hebrew, the word kahilah is community. So it's about lifting each other up, being there for each other. We don't believe the same things. We're not all from the same religious practices. Some of us are atheists, some of us are Jews, Christians, Hindus, whatever we are. It's not about that. But the tradition of meditation that I teach is a Semitic tradition. So it comes from the Middle East. And it predates Judaism as a religion. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were never called Jews. They were called Hebrews. And this tradition is a tradition that we meditate on sound energy. So you would say from the Vedic tradition, this tradition is like a mantra meditation. So we use the 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet as mantras, or ways in which we can allow the body to get deep state of rest, deeper than deep sleep, while the mind or the consciousness grows. So it's a unique state of rest. It's a state of rest that you don't get when you come home from work and you just like lay on the recliner. Yeah, you shift into the subconscious there and you sort of daydream. But that's a dull state. This state of consciousness in this meditation, metabolic rate slows down, deep, 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 like that. And then the consciousness and awareness grows like that. So it's a unique state of consciousness. And we achieve that three ways. Through breathing, special breathing, and then we articulate one of these 22 letters. So most of my life now, since I was very young, actually a junior in high school, I started along this path. Now I'm 64 years old. So it's been a long time. I've been doing this meditation, practicing it and learning it from other masters in India and Israel and here. So all of that knowledge now allows me to be able to choose these letters, an intimate relationship with these letters through my meditation. And I'm able to, from that knowledge, pick these letters for you, the one that works best for you. So if you have not been initiated into UMI meditation yet, I'm happy to do that. There's no tuition. We live and sustain based on donations. So if you're feeling generous, you might want to donate to UMI to keep us sustainable. But there is no tuition. It's a 5-step meditation learning practice. But you may be here and you may know your own form of meditation. You're welcome to be here and meditate with us with your own form. Or if you want to learn this particular Semitic form and you haven't yet learned it, I'd be happy to teach you. It's just a quick 5-step program and then you're an expert. So these symbols that you see on the walls, those are the 22 Hebrew letters. They're broken into different categories. We won't get into that. But we believe in this form of mysticism and meditation that we have a symbiotic relationship with each other, and with nature. So these sound vibrations relate to us as individual people, but also they relate to the stars, the moon, various constellations, the trees, the earth. So you see these letters, they have maybe a picture behind them. That letter in that corner back there is a bet, and it has a Saturn picture, Hubble picture of Saturn. These others are constellations. So the general idea here is that these letter energies relate to us as individuals and also relate to the laws of nature and those things that we see in nature. And we're intimately connected with nature, within ourselves and all around us. So every month we meet here, the last Sunday of every month. This one's different because we're celebrating also the Festival of Lights together with a group meditation. So we meet, and why do we do group meditation? I won't get into all the details of it, and there's been actually scientific study on it, but we're able to affect our environment. When we dive down deep and create inner peace, we're actually also creating outer peace in our environment, right? And when we do that, we transcend and we go deep within. As individuals, we're doing that, but when we gather together, we're more than the sum of our parts. So it's kind of like instead of dropping a little pebble in the pond, the ripples will affect the extremities of the pond. But when you drop a big boulder in the pond, from a group meditation, the ripples are much more powerful, right? So I participated in studies, both in Israel and in Washington, D.C., where we meditated in a group. It does make a difference. So we meditate, not only it helps us in our meditation practice, we gain more peace and clarity, but we're also doing something for our community, for our environment, right? For this spiritual community that I called Kahilah before in Hebrew. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say also now I'm trying not to talk too much, but I'm going to say a few words about the celebration that we're having today, the Festival of Lights. There's a lot of meaning to it. It's a story in the Semitic tradition, just like there's stories in the Far Eastern tradition, the stories of Buddha and the stories of Krishna and the stories of Jesus and the stories of Moses. They all have value to us, right? In this particular tradition, this is one of the stories in the Hebrew tradition. It's a story that, some may not believe it's a historical event. It's a likely historical event that sort of began 200 years BC, like in that area. The Greeks being very imperialistic and wanting to grow, were taking over all of these countries and continents, and they had taken over Syria. And they would have these little kings, and the Assyrians had a king, Antiochus III, I believe. And he decided to war with the Egyptians who had control of Judea. And he won. So he beat out the Egyptians, and now the Greeks, or the Assyrian Greeks, under Antiochus, owned Judea, right? This is, like I said, about 200 years before Christ. So, in this situation, wasn't great for the Hebrews, but it wasn't terrible. He was saying, you guys can practice your own religion, you can do your own thing, we'd like you to incorporate some Greek culture, it'd be nice. So there was some assimilation going on, but slowly, it got more and more. And then his son, Antiochus Epiphanes, the fourth, was really creepy. So he came and he said, no, you have to be Greeks. Stop this temple bullshit. We're going to put pigs in there. I know you guys don't like pigs, so we're putting pigs in there, pig blood all over the place. And here's a statue of Zeus, and you have to worship this statue, right? This didn't go over well. Now, there were some Jews who said, you know what? So what? It's a statue. We can live with a statue, you know? But many Jews said, no, we can't. This is a total fascism. They're telling us how we have to live, how we have to worship, what we can do and what we can't do. Imagine someone coming to Jamestown saying you can't have music, you can only have Greek music at the Merc. Nothing else. No reggae, no Beatles, no nothing. And we'd be like, I don't think so. Maybe one or two people would be like, oh, Greek music's not so bad. Why start a fight? Why should we start a fight? Greek music's not so bad. But most of us would say, no, we want our music. We want the Capones to play at the Merc. All right, we're not putting up with this. So there was a family, as the story goes, called the Maccabees. And they started a revolt. And they said, we want you out of our temple, and we're going to fight you over it. So really the meaning to me is that those things that seem impossible are always possible. So as meditators, we sit here and think, oh yeah, my group meditation is going to infect the environment. Well, it really is. And it's proven that it can. And even a small group of people can make a very big difference. Right? So the Maccabees fought against these imperialist fascists and won, even though they were outnumbered. So that's a miracle. So it's a festival of lights, a festival of miracles. So the other miracle, which seemed unlikely, so this is very much unlikely, and you know the Maccabees took all kinds of criticism from other Hebrews. People said, hey, this is ridiculous, we're going to get killed, let's not do this. There's no reason to fight, we can worship in secret. But they chose to do what seemed impossible, and they accomplished it, right? And then they had to clean out the temple according to the law. And they only had enough oil in order to do this. There was supposed to be lights. The menorah was supposed to be lit. So we're going to light a menorah for the last day of Hanukkah over there and before we eat. But there was only enough oil for one day, and they needed it to last for 8 days. But they did it anyway. And sure enough, the oil lasted for a full 8 days. So what seems impossible to us is possible on the level of consciousness. And out of that, each month we talk a little bit about the energy of the month that we're meditating in, the letter related to that energy, and this month is a month of light, miracle, and love, and that's what we're celebrating really. Doesn't matter, religion, no religion, whatever. So now what we're going to do is we're going to meditate, right? And I'm going to guide us through our meditation. So we're first going to be breathing, and we're going to inhale through our nose, like that, while putting the tongue lightly to the roof of the mouth. When we exhale, we release the tongue, and we exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And I'll guide us through that. Then, for all of you who have been initiated into UMI meditation, at some point on the exhale, you're going to articulate your letter, actually say your Hebrew letter. We'll do that for a while. If you have not been initiated into a letter, right, just say the letter Tav. Right? If you were translating that, all these letters are names. They're not just a letter. So if you're transliterating that into English, it would be like T-A-V. Okay? So then you'll say your letter. If you haven't been initiated, you'll say Tav. We'll say that a bunch of times. Then we're going to return to normal breathing and just think the letter internally. We're not going to force the letter. We're just going to think it internally. Okay? Then thoughts come and go. We remember we're not thinking the letter, we return to it. It's an effortless practice. It's mindlessness, not mindfulness. Mindlessness. So we'll be doing that silent piece for about 15 minutes. During that time, you won't hear anything unless somebody's sneezing or burping or whatever around you, right? Towards the end of that time, we're going to bring us out of our meditation with music, because it's a special celebration. We don't get this every month. So Jack and Carol are going to do a nice song. So you'll hear Carol say the English meaning of the song, because the song's in Hebrew, and then they're going to sing it. And you'll be coming out of your meditation with this song. Okay? Any questions? Sure. Can you sit on the floor? Sure, absolutely. You can lie on the floor, you can sit on the floor, you can get up and dance, do whatever you want, but with your eyes closed. Okay, so let's close our eyes. Let's inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now we're going to take a little longer between breaths. Let's inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. The letter. Inhale. Say the letter. Inhale. Say the letter. Inhale. Say the letter. Inhale. Say the letter. Okay, let's return to normal breathing. Just gently and effortlessly begin to think the letter internally. Thoughts go, thoughts come. We just take it as it comes. And then we remember the letter. We just effortlessly return to it. We'll be meditating like this for about 10-15 minutes. But don't worry about the time. The music will bring us out of our meditation. Okay, so we'll take a few moments to gradually come out of our meditation. Slowly open our eyes. Thanks, guys. That was beautiful. Very nice. So now we're going to go to the other building. There's going to be some more music. We're going to light the candles. We're going to eat some really good food. Sound like a good plan? Games for kids, dreidels, plenty of candy. Oh yeah, that's a good idea, I think. We probably do have to bring some chairs.